Hello, hello. We have Dallas here today. So, Dallas and I are just going to kind of casually chat and tell her story and her recovery journey, where she's at so far, symptoms that she experienced. So, we're just going to jump right into it. But if you are new, be sure to subscribe to this channel. Check the description of this video. I've got lots of resources for you, and we're just going to jump right in. So, Dallas, tell us about you and just kind of jump into your journey. And as I can think of questions, I'll kind of insert those as we go.
Sounds good. So I struggled with anxiety since I was like really little. I had like separation anxiety with my mom and stuff, and like I just had never dealt with it throughout my life. And so I guess it was just building and building. And then I had like some traumatic things go on in my life, and I was on SSRIs and stuff. I don't think I really ever struggled with like panic or anything, but it was just like the really bad general anxiety. So yeah, I was on, I think am I allowed to say what medicine I was on and stuff?
Yeah, I think so. The algorithm might not like it, but it's fine. Go for
I was
it.
I was on different SSRIs. We'll just say that. um, and basically, I couldn't get my prescription because I was like out of state. So I was like, I'm just gonna stop this cold turkey. And my body really didn't like that. That was like the straw that broke the camel's back for me, I guess. And that's when like all the DPDR started. And I had no idea what was going on. I thought I was like, at first I was like, oh, I'm having, because I get migraines. I was like, I'm having some kind of like migraine. Like I thought it was, I don't remember what it's called. There's a certain kind of migraine, I guess, that can kind of make you feel like that though.
Yeah.
But then it was just like lasting for days and days. And then when I would like go out and stuff, like when I would come back, I would not recover the same. I'm like, what is going on? Like I feel like sick all the time. I
Hmm.
was like kind of panicking over it, but at the same time, I was like, this, I'm just like feeling kind of sick right now. Like it's gonna go away. Um, and so then I started getting like visual snow and stuff like that. And so I started calling my doctor. I'm like, do you know what's going on with me? Like, I feel like I'm like looking at things, but I can't see them. Like, really, like I'm not looking at it. And I'm like, I'm looking at my hands, but I can't really, like, I see them, but like it looks like I can't focus on them, is kind of how I would like describe it at first. And he's like, yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. It could just be like stress or whatever. Like, he really didn't have any answers. And then he's like, maybe go see the eye doctor or something. And I was like, okay, must be something like with my eyes and stuff. And then I feel like as I kept like trying to live and stuff and like go to work, I kept noticing like the DPDR, which I didn't know what it was yet, was just getting like more and more intense. And I was like, okay, we just went into the store and I feel like I didn't actually just do that. And so I would start like panicking from it, which obviously made it worse and worse. I think I eventually just did like a bunch of like research online, like, Googling and stuff like, what the heck is this, seeing if other people were experiencing it. And I like found out, I was like, okay, I'm pretty confident that this is DPDR. I was like, I wasn't at a point where I was having like panic attacks from it yet because I was like, okay, I know what this is. Like, it's gonna go away. It was only like a week or two, and um, but then like once I was like, okay, I know it's DPDR, but nobody online knew how to like overcome it or like fix it like I wanted to. And so then I realized that it wasn't going away. It was actually just getting worse. And I'm like, I have no idea how to deal with this. Then I saw some people online say you just need to distract yourself 24/7, which was not the answer. Like I didn't even know how to distract myself 24/7. I was like, I would like go out on a walk and I'm like, okay, I'm going on a walk thinking about it the whole time though. I'm like, I don't know how to not think about it.
Mhm.
And it was just getting worse and worse. And then I ended up like just being in a spot where I was like fully in like panic attack mode 24/7, just like having panic attacks every day. I had to move back in with my mom. She had no idea what was going on with me. She was like, we probably need to send you to a mental hospital. And I was just like freaking out. I'm like, what the heck is going on with me? And I was like, maybe I'm just like really, really depressed. I don't know. Like, and that's why I can't get out of it. Um, that was for a few years actually. Like I was still trying to like kind of function, but I was like panicking all the time, like kind of like not wanting to go out and hang out with friends and stuff. I would get like and that was really like my only symptom was DPDR and panic at that point. I didn't have a ton of symptoms like added on yet. Um, but yeah, I wouldn't really like go out or anything because I just didn't know how to make it go away. And so then I think after like a couple years of that, I was just kind of like living like that. Like I would still somewhat live my normal life
Yeah.
because I feel like it wasn't as bad as I knew it could be, if that makes sense. like I was able to live life and still just like kind of be annoyed by it and like anxious about it all the time. But I didn't know like what was to come, that it could get 10 times worse. Um, so then like I went on this like big, I got married and everything while I had it, which was kind of crazy. Like I was stressed that day. I was like out of it that day, which kind of stinks like thinking back about it, but it is what it is. I'm married now and I'm happy that I'm married. But then I
Like
went on like a
season to like enter in the middle of DPDR because you just feel like life's passing you by and you're like, what's happening, you know?
And I knew I was like, I don't want to stop living my life. I know that's like I can't stop living my life because of it. That was my mindset for the first like, well, I was like that. Then I went on this big like family vacation with my husband's family, went to Disney World, which is so overstimulating, like so much walking. I was drinking a bunch of caffeine. I was like not sleeping very much. And so when I got back from that vacation, I had like a nocturnal panic attack. And like I woke up and I literally like had no idea where I was. And I was like looking it up. I could not find anybody that had experienced that. But I finally did like find someone and that was like really reassuring to me. I was literally like, I don't know who's laying in bed next to me. I have no idea like where I am in the world right now. And I was just like panicking. I thought I was gonna die. And I had never had a panic attack like that before. And then when I woke up from that, the next day was when it was like the DPDR was like set in like 10 times harder. And like I started getting all these other symptoms like with my I think that's kind of when well no actually I started group after that. So after that I was like I need help. Like at that point I was laying in bed all day. I did not want to get out of bed. I was so freaked out. I was like I
Yeah.
cannot do this. It was literally like living in hell.
I remember
Um
that story when you were in like the hotel and that panic attack happened. I remember that. So that was probably shortly before we met, right?
yeah, it was actually right before we met. So sorry, I was getting a phone call. But it was in my own bedroom, which was even worse. Like I didn't know where I was in my own bedroom. It wasn't even a hotel.
Okay.
So
That's
that
yeah.
yeah, really freaked me out.
That'll make you feel like you're going crazy. I
Oh,
mean,
I was about to like I was like something is severely, severely wrong with me. I need to go to the hospital. Which I did not go to the hospital. I just was like, okay, this is a panic attack. And I even like tried to go to the gym the next morning. I told my husband, I was like, we still have to go to the gym the next morning. And I hadn't even like met you or know how to recover yet. So there was something in me that was like, I can't stop because of this. But I did go to the gym, but then after that I was like, this is too much. So I would like kind of just be in bed like panicking all day. And then like I was on TikTok and I saw one of your TikToks and you're like, you can recover. And I was like, what do you mean? Like you had said all your symptoms. I was like, okay, that's really similar to me. And I'm like, I need to figure out how to recover. So I think I like DM'd you and then I was like, I really like need to join your group. Um, and honestly, the first time I read your guide, I like panicked because I was like, this is too simple. Like this isn't gonna work. I was like panicking. I was like, oh my gosh, like how is she saying like this is gonna what's gonna make me recover? This is not true. Like it has to be more than that. Um, but I was like, okay, I'll join anyways. Like if she like made it through, I can make it through. So yeah, then I joined your group and I started using Ideal, which like really, really helped me. Like I had moments of it took a while to get there, but I had moments before like even more symptoms kind of came
yeah.
that like I was like not anxious about the DPDR, which like I was like I didn't realize before I had met you that like it's my choice to be worried and anxious. I was like, this is just the way I was born. This is something that happened to me, and like I it's not something I can like help or fix, like being anxious. And
Yeah.
like, even like with my faith and stuff, I know that there's verses in the Bible that say like be anxious about nothing. And I'm like, well, which is so silly that I would be like, well, God's not talking to the people with anxiety disorders. And then I'm like, I've like realized I'm like, I'm so dumb for thinking like, why would God not be like talking to everybody about that? I'm like, I'll like look in the Bible. I'm like, well, what does he say about people with anxiety disorders? And now I'm like, well, an anxiety disorder isn't real. It's just my nervous system like kind of being not real. Like people experience it, but like in my mind now, I'm like, I'm really just experiencing fight or flight symptoms, and I do have the choice to like not worry, I guess.
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, it's like it's a state, right? But it's not something that has to be like a life sentence, you know? And you know what's funny with the Bible thing? I would have said the same thing too, because I would have been like, oh, like, yeah, like that's people that don't have anxiety disorders. And I was listening to this podcast the other day and he was talking about worldview and he's like, if you All right, it's actually on spiritual warfare, but it was basically like if you believe XYZ, it's like it's such a clear indicator that your worldview is shaped by psychology and science and the world and society and not what God says about us. And it's so easy to fall into this trap where it's like my identity, like this is how I was created and made, and God made me this way, and I'm broken and blah blah blah. And because this happened, I'm always going to be this way. And it's like, where's that coming from? Because that's not what God says about us, actually. And God designed our bodies and our brains to be plastic, right? And neuroplasticity and to be able to change. And it's like He wouldn't have created us that way if we couldn't change. But when we have this like foundational belief and lie where it's like, here's our ceiling because I have these problems, I can only get this far. It's like we don't even try to get up there because we're like, this is as far as we can get, you know? And the world says cope and, whatever. And so, yeah, that's a really good point. Yep.
Yeah, definitely. Like I feel like that was like kind of like a turning us. I feel like I had a lot of turning points in recovery and stuff. But like I feel like that was definitely a point when I was like, oh my gosh, like I can have like freedom from this and in this. Like I and it's kind of like up to me to have freedom in it. I'm not trapped. It's kind of what I realized. But sorry, that was kind of a long backstory. I can kind of like get into symptoms and stuff.
Yeah, get into symptoms. That's all really good though.
A little list. Well, it's kind of a long list, and this probably like isn't even like that many. So obviously I had DPDR, and it was like super intense. Like I don't know. Like I've heard some people describe DPDR, and I'm like, okay, I feel like mine was super intense. Like I would like look at my husband and be like, I have no idea who this person is. I know like people can like feel familiar, but I'm like, feel like I don't like I've never met you before. Like just being in my room, I'm like, I have no idea where I am. And then the depersonalization, like I have no idea who I am. Or like I would have times where I felt like trapped in my body and like I need to get out of my own body, like so uncomfortable. So I think that was like all in the DPDR. I would feel like really like my whole body would like feel numb. Like I would get home from work and like I, my body like I just like couldn't feel my own body kind of. I would feel like emotionally numb. I would get like these weird like I don't know how to explain them, the head rush things. Like basically, I thought I was having a seizure. Like I was just on a walk and I felt pretty calm, and then like it was like my whole head was like not even buzzing.
Yeah.
It kind of like a buzz rush. Like I can't even put it into words, but I literally thought I was having a seizure. Like my vision kind of like went blurry with it, and I was like, that was like probably one of my scariest things besides the DPDR. I would get sharp pains in my head, and I had health anxiety pretty bad. So like I would think, I mean, I just had anxiety about my health. So I would get like sharp pains in my head, and it was like specifically right here. And honestly, sometimes I still get it, but I was convinced I had a brain aneurysm. Like I would like drive myself to the hospital like day after day, like, and I would be like demand that I was like I need an MRI, and every single doctor was like no, and I felt like I need to like manipulate my way into getting MRI. I would be like driving around crying and being like I'm going crazy, like someone needs to give me an MRI because I had pains in my head, which I now really truly believe that it's from tension, like up my neck. It can like literally hurt any part of your head. I'm like the top of my head hurts from tension in my neck, which is weird, but
Yeah.
that was one that really bothered me. A lot of dizziness. The PPPD. I don't know, like when you're
All the P's, the D, the dizzy. Yeah.
um, really bad visual snow, like blurry vision. I had really bad death anxiety. A lot of pressure in my head. Really, really severe fatigue. I had like some POT symptoms, the nocturnal panic attacks. I had very severe heart palpitations. Like I would have like all day, like they would just be like going. Like I felt like I like could not catch my breath because not even just like beating fast, it felt like my heart was like skipping beats and stuff. I would get pain in my left arm and numbness in my left arm, so I thought I was having a heart attack. And just like pain and
Darn it, too.
tingling,
It's like so frustrating. Yeah.
in my fingers. One that I've had like more recently was like pain in my legs, and I think it might have been like a fibromyalgia thing. I don't really know. I mean, I know that's all part of like the symptoms and stuff, but it was just like I honestly thought like I had like blood clots in my calves or something because it was just like I remember somebody else in the group actually talking about having that, which kind of helped. But I still like went to the doctor the first time because my leg was swollen from it too, but it was really just from like I think tension and like just being in fight or flight all the time, like I would just get like random pains in my calves and like the backs of my legs and like backs of my knees and stuff, like literally everywhere, just like pain anywhere, kind of. Um, I would have like a fullness in my ears where it felt like I couldn't hear. It felt like I was like passing out. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's like multiple ways that I felt like I was passing out. One was like my ears feeling clogged and I'm like, I can't hear. I feel like I'm passing out. And then like my vision like would make me think I was passing out or just like feeling like lightheaded. And like the fear of passing out, all that. I had like a loss of interest in everything. Like I didn't want to do anything. Um, and then really bad like light sensitivity was my last one I put. Like I would walk outside and be like, I cannot see anything. Like it would be so bright and like just so uncomfortable to like look at screens and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I totally relate. It's crazy because DPDR was I think my very first symptoms. Like I had the panic and stuff like that paired with that from the DPDR, but that was like my first major symptom. And then my second major symptom cluster became like the chronic dizziness. Sorry, I got the chronic dizziness and stuff like that. But I remember with DPDR, I have like a whole playlist, like a super old one on YouTube that I'll watch and be like, I don't even remember some of that stuff. Like it's so crazy. But it was like so intense and I just could not grasp because I'm like, it felt like I was like stoned. It felt like I had like was so drugged. Something was like so off, like not even just like kind of drugged, but like laced with something drugged, right? And so I would tell myself, I'm like, okay, this is just my nervous system and it's protecting me. But then I'm like, this does not make sense. Like it was just like such a frustrating feeling. And when you don't understand like what the body can do, it just feels like no way. Like this has to be something else. And even like doctors that I was coming across, like as I was explaining this, they're kind of staring at me like with their face scrunched up, like, hmm, like, well, it's anxiety, I guess, But like, there was no like real explanation for what was happening. And I'm like, I already feel crazy. I was even scared to say some things to doctors because I'm like, if I say this out loud, like, that's it for me. And it's just wild like what the body can do and all of the like the real symptoms it can produce when it's under stress. And yeah, I agree. Tension is the culprit for so many different symptoms because when your body is chronically in fight or flight, the neck, I mean, all this stuff, and people like want to go after like, is it cervical instability? Is it this? Is it that? It's like get yourself out of fight or flight first, chronic fight or flight, which can take a long time, to get your body really fully out of it, and then see what's left because yeah, tension can be such a culprit for so many things and just the body feeling it's in danger. And I would say it's only natural to kind of like fall into this because if you're already kind of an anxious person, anxious personality type, perfectionist, whatever, and then you get hit with this stuff, it's like, okay, what's wrong? How do I get rid of it? And it just becomes this like self-fueling fire? So I guess my next question would be when it comes to like aha moments and things like that, the first thing I can think of was kind of like the contract you did with yourself, which is kind of like funny. You should like save that forever somewhere. But talk about that and anything else where you're like, these are aha moments, like mentally. I know you said the whole like, this is something I'm in control of. And I think that's so good because that's something that I'm even careful like with how I say it to people because it's like the last thing you want to tell somebody when they're like struggling through every second of life is like, you're in control of this. It's like, screw
Right. I
you.
wouldn't want to either. But
Yeah.
that's like an aha moment. Once you like do it for the first time, like you calm yourself when you're feeling really
Yeah.
anxious. Oh my gosh, like wait, I just stopped that. And if I could stop it like one time, like
Yeah.
I'm capable, like if I can calm myself that one time, I'm capable of like I can calm myself like whatever comes up, really. That was like an aha moment for me. But the contract was I was like going to the doctor way too much. Like at this point, like everybody knew I was okay. Like literally everybody knew. Like my family knew. I think you were telling me like I think you're about done. um like the doctors like were like you're so healthy. Like every like they never found anything. Like anything. So I think I like went I was like it was when I was having the really bad like head pains. I was like, I have a brain aneurysm, guys, which obviously is not true. And I was just like waiting for myself to like for it to hurt one time and I just pass away, which is what I thought was going to happen. So I was like, I need to get into the doctor. But I was like, okay, I'm going to go this one last time. And I really want to get an MRI. And if they don't give me one, like, we're making a contract. Like, me and my husband made a contract saying, like, this is the last time I'm going to go to the doctor.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what we didn't like say like something was going to happen if I didn't, but I just like, we were just like, I'm just going to be really disappointed in myself if I like, you know, reach this contract. And honestly, that helped a lot. And I did not go to the doctor for a really long time, but it was still in my mind for a while after that. I was like, oh my gosh, like I was still thinking it was an aneurysm or anything. And honestly, the turning point for me wasn't necessarily the contract, it was me breaking the contract because I did. And I drove myself back to the hospital and I was so like, that was just like rock bottom for me. I was like, oh my gosh, like this
Yep.
is, I can't even keep like a promise to my husband and to myself because I'm so obsessed with whatever I think is going on and like trying to protect myself from dying. And I
Yep.
think that was a big part of it was I was really, really afraid of death. I remember talking to you about it a lot. And
Mhm.
actually, like I'm not anymore, which is crazy to say because I would remember like laying in bed and being like, I'm never gonna get over this fear. I'm gonna die one day. And like I don't want to. Like I that can't happen. Like I would like get this terrible feeling over me of like panic and anxiety with it. And I'm not afraid of it anymore, honestly, because I really like started speaking to the Lord about it and like praying about it and like strengthening my faith and my beliefs. I'm like, I really had to like understand why do I believe in God and like do I really believe in God and Jesus? Because if I do, like I wouldn't be like fearing death like this. And
That's
like part of that made me think like, oh my gosh, my faith isn't good enough. And like I feel like later on God like revealed to me it's like it's not that your faith wasn't good enough. You just needed to like reach out to him more and like pray to him more and like grow in my faith. Not that it wasn't like necessarily like good enough for him. Um so yeah, that was a huge turning point was like growing in my faith like that much and like being stronger in my in like what I believe in about God and like kind of coming to terms like that even if like I really do believe that I'm going to go to heaven when I die and that Jesus is God. But I'm like even if I die and like my worst case scenario was there's nothing after death. I'm like, okay, like I'm not gonna know. And usually that would bother me, but for some reason now I'm like just like the more I like prayed about it and thought about it, like I'm at peace with it now. And so that was like a big like thing I think in health anxiety because I think in health anxiety you're really just at least for me I was like I just don't want to die. I was
yeah.
like trying to keep from dying. I would say that was my biggest turning point.
Yeah, that's massive. I totally agree with you. And you know what's funny is like out of everybody that I've ever met, you had the closest death anxiety to me. And like I remember well before the anxiety cycle. I don't know how much I told you about this, but like, I mean, it started for me like in high school, existential anxiety, where it was just this realization of like eternity. And it wasn't even like imminent death at that point that I was scared of. It was like forever and ever and ever and ever. And it would just like make me physically sick. Like I was just like I could not wrap my mind around it. It was like breaking my brain. I was imagining myself like floating alone. Nobody could hear me. Nobody, I couldn't talk, just darkness forever and ever and ever and ever and ever, you know. And I was going to all these counselors, and I'm like, dude, nobody could say anything that is going to fix this. Like, there is nothing anybody could say. And I kept going to them, and I was just like, but you haven't died. Like, you can't rationalize this to me. I'm like, this, like, I can't. I'm like, I almost felt like I'm like, my mind's like unlocked on this level that other people's minds are unlocked. And I would talk to my husband about it, and I'd get so frustrated because he's like, I mean, whatever. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like trying to explain it to him. I'm like, just think about it. Like go in a dark room for 5 minutes and just like think about it, you know? And like it's crazy. And like a lot of it is the state that your body's in because when your body's not in such an intense state, you can have the same thoughts. And like just the other day, I was talking to my husband and I had this brief existentially type thought, and it was about sickness. And I was like, we were kind of sick, and I was like, isn't it weird that our bodies get sick? Like staring off into the distance. My husband's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Never mind. It's fine. Actually, I'm not gonna go down that road." But it's like it's so crazy where, I can have the same types of thoughts. It's not that I think differently. I do think very existentially in like space. It's just like weird. The whole thing's weird, right? And it's meant to be weird, right? And so when you take the Bible and the gospel and the fact that we are spiritual beings and you take all this crazy stuff and then you plant it in this world that denies that and overlooks that, and we're just like on our iPhones and we're just, going to work and going home and we have dogs, and it's just like, whoa, like if we pretend the spiritual world is not real, we're gonna feel crazy when we have this like awareness. And the Bible talks about implanting eternity on our hearts. And so, yeah, I agree with you. I would say faith is literally the only cure for that. And like you can respond and corral your thoughts and like all that within that. But faith is the only cure for that. And that's the only thing that cured that for me too. And every now and then, I went through a season where I didn't have it pop up at all anymore. Like I would say like I 100% do not fear death. And then even recently, man, going to bed, I just have that sinking feeling where I'm like, where's that coming from? But at the
Yeah.
same time, I'm like, but I don't have to agree with it. I don't have to like indulge it. I don't have to entertain it. Like it's just a feeling and I know the truth. Like I really do. And yeah, I would say like strengthening your faith and figuring out what you believe in. And I'm so glad God allowed me to go through that, because I would rather have gone through that brief, relatively speaking, eternity wise, like season of life, even though it was years, right? It's like this brief season of life to be able to like learn how to walk with Jesus and walk with God. And there's so much more to that relationship than just like checking a box and going to heaven and being a Christian. It's like there is so many promises God gives us and peace. And that's why with recovery, I think the best mindset to have is not like, how do I get in here and get rid of my symptoms? And so many people have that. I had that. I'm like, how many weeks? How many days? Like, LOL, right? But it's like, how long until I'm done with all this stuff? And instead, the mindset to have is like, okay, especially as a believer, it's like, okay, I am learning how to I wake up in the morning, God, what do you want to show me today? What do you want to teach me today? Like, how can you strengthen me? Okay, I have this fear. Clearly, that's an area that I need to work through. Like, God, carry me. Let me like learn how to trust you. Let me learn that you hear me and you have not missed out on any details and you created me perfectly and all this stuff. And it's a journey. And so when you have this mindset of like, I am here to like learn how to follow Jesus and take everything that he has for me on this journey of life while I'm on this earth until eternity, right? It's so much easier, to get through. So I think that's so good. Yeah, completely. And there's a lot of people that I coach too that are not believers. And my whole thing on that is like, I'm not here to tell somebody like, oh, you have to be a believer in order to like recover. But I would go as far as to say is like recovery is meaningless. Like that, okay, so you don't have symptoms for a while on this earth. Like we were created for so much more, and it's not just like my beliefs and Dallas's beliefs. Like there's one truth. Whether we're right or we're wrong, like there's one truth. The world wants to preach that there's like a million different truths, and your truth and my truth and their truth, and respect everyone's truths. It's like that's just not true. So yeah, I would say that there's so much to that. And it's not that God is some evil God that wants to like drag us through the mud to like teach us a lesson. It's more like he allows us to go through things for the greater good. It's like because I went through this and Dallas went through this, our eyes were opened and we were able to like really figure out like, okay, what do we believe? Kind of like a wake-up call, you know? Um, yeah, so that's what I would say about that. But I think that's really, really good. Anything else from like a recovery standpoint you would give somebody advice on, like somebody that's in the trenches right now? What would you like say to them?
Um, keep using ideal. Definitely. Like even though like I guess kind of like I don't know, that's like a hard question because I feel like all I really did was like I tried to just make it as simple as possible because like a lot of the time when I was in the trenches, I was like, I need to do this, this, and this, and be like overthinking things constantly, thinking about recovery. But when I felt the best is when I was like, right now, all I need to do is tell myself this is a false alarm and that I'm safe, basically, and move on from that and live my life no matter how I feel. And that was like making it super simple for me. When I would overthink it is when I would like start spinning and feel like I'm stuck again. So
Cool.
just like making it super simple and like doing one thing at a time. And even if I'm like, sometimes I'm still like, I don't really know what I want to do today. Like, what's like gonna not necessarily keep me occupied or distracted, but like getting back into life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that. was my biggest thing. And then just like staying in prayer and like I
Hmm.
guess like my biggest access to peace is obviously God. And so like you can definitely tell yourself like, oh, I'm safe, but like dwelling on the fact that like God loves you and that he wants you to like feel safe and loved and like he wants you to what's the word like basically he just wants you to like he wants you to like have a good life. He doesn't want you to be like suffering like and that he's on your side. He's not here to like make you like feel worse or anything. Like I think that like brought me a lot of peace that he is there to protect me and that like literally I don't have to fear anything because like in my mind the worst thing that could happen to me was death. And then once I overcame like the death anxiety, I'm like nothing can touch me basically. Like I still struggle with like anxiety coming up and stuff, but then when I go back and think that like God and his like army of angels is literally protecting me, like that just brings me so much peace.
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, the Bible says what? Perfect love casts out all fear, something like that, you know? It's like that's so true. Like literally when you realize how loved you are, it's a game changer because when you realize how loved you are, you realize again, like I felt like I had to be like, but God, wait, but what about, don't forget about this. Like, but there's this detail. Wait, but my great grandma had aneurysms, but it's like, no, like he knows and he has a perfect plan and everything's going to be okay. And yeah, he's right there beside you. And there's a season two where I would literally picture, I'm like, literally, whatever I was doing that I was feeling super symptomatic over, I'm like, just picturing Jesus literally like carrying me or like walking right next to me. And it's true. You know, it's like doesn't we're not promised that things are going to be super easy and cushy in life, but we are promised to have this peace above all understanding and this comfort and counselor and all these things. And there's a book too, Dallas. I'll send you the title. I was just talking to you about it. But everyone listening, I highly recommend. It's called Living Fearless by Jamie Winship, and it's all about identity and like figuring out like what lies have you believed in your life that have led you to whatever point you're at, right? Like death, anxiety, whatever it is, like where did this enter? And then it's all about hearing from God. And for the longest time, I prayed a lot, but I didn't listen, you know? And I was thinking, and I'm like, man, we are created in God's image to converse with God, right? It's like us as humans, we talk back and forth, we talk, we listen, we hear, like all these things. So why would we not have that relationship with God? And then you take religion and all this stuff that kind of like plants these weird seeds where now we're like, oh, we talk to God at church and we pray before our meals and, you know, dear Jesus, thy Lord. It's like, no, like literally, this is a very personal relationship and you can talk to God just like Dallas and I are talking right now. And the book is very eye-opening because it really like teaches you to be like, God, you know, Holy Spirit, like, what do you want me to know about this? And it's like, God will like show you things and give you memories and just these weird thoughts. And you're like, wait, where did this come from? God, what do you want me to know about that? And there's just such comfort in having this relationship with the creator and the only person that is truly in control and everything like that. So yeah, I think that's really good. How would you say too, Dallas? Last thing I want to ask is how would you say this has transformed other areas of your life? Are you noticing like transformation in like all areas of your life and your thinking and stuff like that? Because I know it did a 180 on my personality, honestly. Like not in a bad way. There's still parts of me I love to travel and host and stuff, but it really did a 180 on my personality. So are you noticing that at this point in recovery?
Definitely, yeah. Like I would say like I definitely am a little bit more like adventurous and stuff. And like I'm not like 100% recovered, I would say. Like I still have like symptoms and stuff and like anxiety still does like pop up for me, but like since I know how to respond to it, I'm like I just like think about it differently, I guess. So like I know it sounds like kind of silly, but like when we went on a vacation, we went to Hawaii and there was like stuff that I would like never normally do because I'm like that's too dangerous. Like I could die. I could like something bad could happen. Like we went like diving at night. We did like a snorkel at nighttime with like manta rays and there was literally like a shark down there. And I had stayed out there in the water there because like it looked like a huge shark and like obviously sharks are unpredictable, but I like stayed in the water and I was like, I could calm my body. Like whatever happens right now happens. And like I never would have done something like that before. And obviously it's like more of like a fun thing, not like super practical,
Yeah.
but like that was just like not my personality before. Like I would have been like, I'm staying on the boat, like I'm not doing this. Like if there's any chance that there's danger or something that can hurt me, like I don't want to do this. I definitely like I mean, even like things like this, like even pop, like coming into like the group meetings before, I'd be anxious because I'm like, I have to talk in front of people and stuff. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, we'll like sit here and be calm and be like, I don't really need like fight or flight symptoms right now. Like, I'm okay. Like,
that's
I'm not in danger. So things like that. And then I would say just like how I grew in my faith definitely changed, and just like the way I look at things and like the purpose of life and like things like that.
That's so good. I love that. Yeah, actually, one more thing I wanted to say. I just thought about this. When it comes to fear of death, too, something I thought about, and they say this in the Bible too, but it's like Jesus came to die for us for many reasons, our salvation, all this kind of stuff. But one of the things that it talks about too is like literally like Jesus conquered the fear of death on the cross. So it's like people have always had a fear of death. I think now, honestly, like it's less so in some ways because people are so freaking distracted. Back then, it was in your face. Like people died in your house. They didn't go to like nursing homes and hospitals and it's like death was like very like center of your mind, I would say. And now less so because of science and Western medicine and just all these other things and comforts and stuff like that and distractions. But Jesus came to literally like conquer that fear of death, and the Bible talks about that. And he didn't have to die. I mean, like God ordained this whole thing, right? But it's like he didn't have to do that, but he literally came as a human to walk through exactly like everybody's biggest fear. The biggest fear that like everything sits on, I would say, is the fear of death. That's what everything boils down to, like literally everything. So he walked through that so that we don't have to fear it. You know what I mean? And so it's easy to like overlook that or be like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But just like really, really take comfort in that and think about that because that is huge. And he didn't have to do that, and he did. And it just shows like this is something people have been battling forever, you know?
Yeah, I feel like that is comforting to think about too.
Yeah, it's really good. All right. Well, anything else for now?
I don't think so. Sorry if it was like all over the place.
No, I think it was perfect. I think it was really, really good. I haven't had a DPDR story in a while, and like, man, I just that symptom, like, oh, I could do video after video on that symptom. So I think that was really, really good. Yeah, so thank you so much for taking your time to do this. And people that are watching, I hope this was helpful. Check the description, leave your comments and stuff like that too. But thanks for watching.